Hello chess friends and welcome to your Out of Chess channel and welcome to an incredible game from the TCEC Season 25 Premier Division that you can follow now on the official and beautiful TCEC website. We have here Stockfish 16 battling it out against another top engine Stoofvless in a beautiful Steinitz variation of the French defense, and this game is again so wild, so spectacular, so tactical. Again, the Stockfish engine will produce so many cool and wild ideas in the middle game stage in a seemingly, I have to say it, in a seemingly static position, because the French defense is supposed to be, of course, a static openings where basically you're just fighting for one square, with just fighting maybe for a tiny little improvement, for a tiny little opportunity in the game. But Stockfish creates dynamics even in these types of positions. So in my opinion, really one of the best games that I've seen so far in the Premier Division of the TCEC Season 25. So let's see now what happened with the white pieces. The fish opened with the move e4. We have now the move e6 by Stoofvless. So d4, we have d5, and after move knight to c3, knight to f6, we have now the classical variation of the French defense, and Stockfish continues with the move e5, which is now the so-called Steinitz variation. Knight to d7, f4. As usual, of course, so black is getting huge tactical and positional problems here on the king side, so white is trying to make progress with f5, g4, and similar stuff. On the other hand, black is, of course, trying to create dynamics here on the queen side by playing the move c5, knight to c6, if possible. So far, it's not possible, but if you get maybe even the move b5 somehow through, that would be very, very useful for black. So black is basically attacking the queen side. So it's now really sort of an opposite side attack game. Who is faster on the attack will probably have good chances to win the game. So after move f4, we have now the move knight to b6, and this was now the last pre-arranged move by the organizer. With this move, you are in some lines threatening maybe to play the move knight to c4 to cement the knight on this weak square, forcing maybe even to white to give up this powerful piece, the powerful bishop on f1 for the knight on c4. But we have to say it, although I don't see winning games here for white in this particular position in the database, this is not the optimal way for black to proceed in the Steinitz variation of the French defense. The best way, and in my opinion this is the must play, is to proceed with c5 followed with knight to c6 and the normal plans for black here on the queen side. As I said, the last prearranged move was the move knight to b6, which is really not the best of ways, but let's see now how to make progress from white's perspective in this particular position. So Stockfish continues with the move a3, first of all, preventing the move bishop to b4. We have now finally the move c5, knight to f3, bishop to d7, and now bishop to e3, keeping the position dynamic now around the squares d4 and c5. Stoofvless releases now the pressure in the center with c takes d, knight takes d, and now after move knight to c6, Stockfish plays an interesting move, knight to f3. Simply retreats with the knight, but keeps now a nice grip around the square d4. What Stockfish should not allow here by black is the move d4. If that happens in good ways, of course, for black so far it's not possible, then white could face also many tactical problems, because finally then maybe also the light square bishop could come into the game. So far it's a simple struggle, it's a simple battle now for the d4 square. After move knight to f3, Stoofvless continues with bishop to e7, bishop to d3. We have now the move f6, and now Stockfish plays an interesting and flexible move, queen to e2. This flexibility allows now white to do many things, to castle kingside if necessary, to also castle queenside if necessary. Basically, Stockfish is waiting now black to make his next move, so it's sort of a show me your card idea here by white. So Stockfish is now waiting the normal plans of blacks, and here after move kingside castling that Stoofvless played, here Stockfish says thank you, now I will know where I'm going to castle, now I know where I should attack. And of course Stockfish continues with the immediate h4, which is the way to go. Of course, in the beginning also in the Steinitz variation we have said that with the white pieces you are trying to castle to attack the king side with this method g4 f5, but in some lines black can also get out with the attack and castle queenside. So that's why I really loved Stockfish idea to first wait and then to strike back with the activity here on the king side. From this point on, the game becomes really a spectacular tactical battle. So after move h4, we have now the move h6 by Stoofvless, queenside castling. So you see both players have now the kings on opposite sides. Who is faster on the attack will have now really great chances to win the game. And this move queenside castling is a very one of the most important moves now in the whole game, because notice now the rook is placed on the same file like the queen. So if something clears now on the d file, the queen could be really endangered. And this simple motif, this simple idea, this simple plan, this simple tactical threat Stockfish is using now in order to create really one of the most brilliant attacks. Pay good attention. After move queen to queenside castle, we have rook to c8, hitting now also indirectly, of course, the king on the c file. Black is also hoping for the same. If something clears on the c file, then of course also the king could be endangered. Stockfish continues with g4, creates now pawn storm here on this side of the board. F takes e5, and now everyone would play, I think, knight to e5 or f takes e5, but Stockfish plays a beautiful, dynamic, progressive move, g5. This is the way to go. Simply allowing here even the Stoofvless engine to play this fork with e4. Really wild stuff. I'm not sure how many of us would even consider to play this move, because it's almost like a suicide move here by Stockfish 16, but Stockfish has everything calculated in a good way. Notice, as I said, the tactical threats on the d file. Stockfish continues with knight to e4. Let's see now what happens if you play d takes e4, because the knight to a4 was now Stoofvless continuation, with the preparation maybe in the later stage to somehow include the queen into the game through the square a5 or something. This was now the normal plan, but let's see what happens if you play d takes e4. Obviously, we're curious what is going on. Why didn't Stoofvless take out now the knight on e4? If that happened, then you have this one, bishop to e4, and there are many progressive ideas now for white. The first, I think, most important idea is to pick up now the pawn on h6, opening up the g file. Also, in some lines, we can, I don't know, maybe liberate the long diagonal for the queen, include the queen somehow into the attack. Also, in some lines, maybe even deliver checkmate on h7. Also, what is very important here to notice is this tactical threat. Bishop takes b6, and after queen to b6, the bishop could be hanging. Even if you try maybe a takes b6, then still the bishop is warnable here with some ideas, I don't know, bishop to c6 and then knight to e5. Again, there is simply too much dependency in black's pieces, so the queen and the knight are a little bit too overloaded to defense of the simple bishop on d7, and this bishop on d7 actually cannot move because it's blocked out by its own pawn structure. So it's really a beautiful tactical shot. But let's see, for instance, the continuation. Black continues maybe with queen to c7, gets out of this mess, gets out of the d file tactical possibilities. Now we play g takes h6. You try maybe, of course, bishop to f6. If you play here g takes h6, as we said, then you opening up the g file, and this could be devastating then for black. But here, after move bishop to f6, the problem for black is, for instance, after move rook to g1, and you include maybe some other pieces into the game, maybe the knight on e7, and in some lines maybe threatening some tactics also on the c file. And of course, it's, I think, a natural idea that you are trying to bring more defenders into the game. This is not working because look at this. We have even this stunner, rook to g7. This wasn't, of course, played in the game, but I wanted to show you how brutal really this attack is. After rook to g7, bishop to g7, we include this other piece into the game. You're trying maybe to cover with rook to f7, but now knight to e5 continues the pressure. Amazing attacking flow here by white. You're trying maybe knight to f5, but now look at the bishop to f5, e takes f5, h7, for instance, is a beautiful opportunity. You step back, now we pick up the rook. Devastating, messed up position. You're trying maybe to take queen to h5 is going to, so too many opportunities here for white. Really black is losing the game for sure. For instance, you get back, then knight to h6, you can get this one. In some lines we can even deliver checkmates, of course, on the 7th rank. So really wild stuff. Knight to e4 actually it's not possible to take now here with the pawn. That's why Stoofvless played now knight to a4, continued now the pressure here on the queen side with the piece activity, but Stockfish plays now knight to d2, retreats with the knight. We have now the move e5, knight to e5, knight to e5, f takes e5, queen to c7, attacking now the pawn on e5, and now bishop to d4. Very important move by Stockfish, also protecting the pawn on e5, but also the weak pawn here on b2, because in some lines, as we said, maybe the queen or maybe some other pieces could be included into the game here on the queen side. After move bishop to d4, we have bishop to c5. Stoofvless is trying to get rid of the key defender of the square b2 and maybe also include the queen into the game through the square b6. But now Stockfish plays another beautiful tactical move, queen to g2. It's not retreating so far with the bishop. Of course, if you play bishop to d4, then queen to d5 comes with a check, so nothing gained here for black. Also, what I like about this move, queen to g2, it's of course also attacking now the king indirectly, of course, on the g file. So there is also the threat of g takes h6 and then liberating the g file. Very, very beautiful move here by Stockfish 16. Rook to f7, we have knight to b3. Well, bishop to c5 wouldn't be good here actually for white to maybe trade off the pieces, because black has this intermediate attack with queen to e5. You have to play now weird moves like c3, and then it's not a good position. Also, what would not be good, of course, is here the move g takes h6, because then after bishop to d4 you're simply losing the piece. So this whole defensive strategy that Stoofvlees played here was so far very good, because these were the only moves that are possible in order to defend this position. But as I said, knight to b3, Stockfish continues the pressure. We have bishop to d4, knight to d4, queen takes e5, but now rook to e1, putting more pressure against the queen. You cannot take, of course, queen to d4 because you get this one, bishop to h7, discovered attack against the queen. The queen is lost. The game is over for black. So, of course, black didn't play that. After rook to e1, we have queen to f4 to check, rook to d2. Also, very, very good move here by Stockfish. Continue now the pressure, but also continue to keep the pieces glued together, to keep them compact, especially now on the second rank, which is very important. You see now why, because after move queen to h4 that Stockfish played, Stockfish continues now with the brilliant move bishop to h7. Very, very wild stuff. What to do? Let's see, for instance, if you ignore the threat, with king to h8, then you get this one, rook to h1, attacks the queen. You're trying, of course, something like queen to f4, but now with bishop to g6, this is simply too brutal, and there's simply no opportunity to play queen to f2 to maybe force a trades of queens. I think black would love now to simplify the game by trading off the queens, as I said, playing the move queen to f2, but that's the beauty about the move rook to d2 that Stockfish played. Stockfish in this particular position had maybe after queen to f4 also the opportunity to retreat with the king. Nothing would be wrong, I think, with this position, but this wouldn't be really the optimal way. Rook to d2, really the best continuation, really, really beautiful calculations. We have queen to h4, bishop to h7, stunning move. As we said, let's see again, if you play king to h8, then this idea is working. Bishop to g6, too much pressure. The h file will be open. It's game over, I think, here for black. So from bishop to h7, here Stoofvless played king to h7, but now the beautiful fork g6, and from this point on, I think the game is a one-way ticket in white's favor. So king to h8, Stockfish continues the pressure. Stockfish has, of course, the time when to take out the rook whenever it's won. So here after queen to f7, rook to f2, putting more pressure against the queen. Notice how the queen and the rook are connected here on the second rank. Beautiful positional and tactical play here by Stockfish 16. Queen to e7, we have rook to b1, rook to e8, queen to g6, and now after queen to e4, again a desperate try by Stoofvless to force that further trades of pieces to simplify the game. Stockfish plays now the move rook to h6, must move here for Stockfish, because okay, we can say white is much better. White is up the exchange, but maybe in some other lines, if you could just imagine the position maybe without the queens on the board, if black's king would not be so endangered, then actually black could have some chances with two connected passers with the support of the bishop. Maybe there's something also here in this position for black. So I think this is the normal plan, queen to e4 and then force the trades of queens. But this is not working because of this beautiful tactic that Stockfish played, of course. Rook to h6, we have g takes h6, queen to f6. Now after king to g8, beautiful check. Stockfish grabs now the piece and has now this naked king situation. The material is about equal, but the problem is, of course, here the endangered king position. This is not working. In the game we have rook to e7, now a new check by Stockfish, king to g7, queen to d8, connecting again the pieces. You can, of course, deliver one check, but nothing spectacular. After king to a2, you get all of this mess. No good checks are possible anymore for black. After move queen to d8, that's why rook to f7, we have another check by Stockfish, king to h7, new check. Now the queen gets into the game. Here Stoofvless covers, but basically Stoofvless ran into a beautiful tactical sequence into this king hunt that's basically impossible to escape from now from black's perspective. Here after queen to g3, king to h5, Stockfish continues the pressure with rook to g8, we have rook to g6, trying to again trade off the pieces, but again a beautiful move. Again the king gets endangered and there are no threats of rook to f5. Here we have h5. Now comes this idea, rook to f5, king to h6. We have rook to h5, so you see this is devastating. The Stoofvless engine is losing here for sure. King to g7, and it's actually even a forced checkmate in 11. Let's see now what happened. Here comes the check. Again, Stoofvless retreats. We have a new check. Again, a new check with the rook. You can cover, of course, but then now a new check with the queen. Here you can also win in some lines even the game immediate with ideas of rook to g7, king takes g7, and then queen to e7. But this is not the optimal way. Stockfish played the correct choice, queen to d5. In this particular position, Stoofvless resigns. So what you play here, king to e8, again a new check, again new checks, new ideas here, and after a couple more moves you're running into your forced checkmate sequence. So really wild game, really stunning middle game tactics that Stockfish produced here, allowing in the beginning this fork idea, really wild stuff, to play the move g5 instead of reacting here on the king side, allowing here the fork e4 with the move e4. But then from that point on, Stockfish got every piece into the game. In my opinion, a beautiful attack by Stockfish in the TCEC season 25 Premier Division. So okay, I hope that you enjoyed this game. I really enjoyed it a lot. If you want to see more attacking brilliances like this, check out our commented chess games played by computer series. Here's the link of our playlist, and if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon with some more videos, and what do we say? Chess is the best, of course.